Buenos dias and welcome to More Colombian Than an Arepa podcast. I'm Sam, your host.
And I am the other half, Nick.
And if you're new here, we moved permanently from the United States to Medellín, Colombia, and we started this podcast to give you all of the tips on life in Colombia, living in Colombia, travel in Colombia, pretty much everything Colombia.
Everything Colombia.
And today is episode 4, where we are diving into how to make friends, essentially, how to create a social circle when you're in Colombia. I think that this could probably be applied to any country when you're moving abroad, but this is our experience based in Colombia and how we have been able to find friends after living here for the last 10 months. We moved here in November of 2023, but we did buy an apartment here in August of 2022. So we've been adopted Colombianos for quite some time and feel like we have met some friends in some pretty unique ways here living in Colombia. So we're going to dive in and talk a little bit about where the best cities in Colombia are to meet people, the foreign expat, the kinds of foreigners that come here, and just generally some of the most common ways that you can make friends when you come to Colombia. But before we do, I want to say that this is actually one of our biggest tips that we give people, right? That you make friends immediately, because it really will help in 2 different ways. I think it helps because it reduces how much homesickness that you might have if you make friends and really start creating a family and a community here. And it also helps so that you can really immerse yourself into life here, really start creating your life. Your friends are going to be part of your transition to moving to this beautiful country. And it's just so important to have friends, right?
And it's also important to relate to people that are literally in your same shoes.
But I think that it is a really great topic because it's hard. It's hard to make friends.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially as you get older, it's harder, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think if you move as an adult somewhere, that's probably the number one thing that I think everyone can agree on.
Yeah.
That's hard to do other than life.
But it's so important, I think, to do it as soon as you get here and really commit the time to making those friends.
Or even before, if you're in the process of moving.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Start that before so you have people when you're there and also to rely on as you're doing that process. Because, again, those people were in the same exact shoes or are in the same exact shoes. And you guys can help each other. Maybe
they know people. Maybe there's if you're looking for a doctor or a haircut, you even found someone to cut your hair, which is a fine, thin, blonde hair, which is not typically the hairstyle here in Colombia. So we use friends and communities to be able to help find a good hairstylist for you here.
Yes, we did.
Which is super cool. So I think you can use these people as resources as well. But I think we should just dive right in. What do you think?
Let's get into it.
You want to talk maybe a little bit about the kinds of foreigners that we see here that are a little bit more longer term?
Yeah, I think that, there are all kinds of walks of life here as far as expats and foreigners living here. They're all over the country. They are people that are retired, or maybe they moved here for school and they ended up just staying here. Or they're people like us that they're kind of still trying to adult and want to relocate.
Trying to adult.
Yeah, I mean.
So true.
Yeah. But I think that they're just every kind of walk of life. So no matter what kind of person that you get along with or are compatible with, there's probably someone here for you.
Yeah. And I think it's also interesting too, because there are a ton of, I think the kind of foreigners that we see here are a lot of people from the United States, a lot of people from the Netherlands.
And Germany.
Yeah. We see Spain and a lot of Canadians.
Probably most from the U.S. and Canada.
And then, but we have been recently meeting a lot of Australians too, which has been so much fun. Australians, and we have met people from other Latin American countries like Argentina, Peru. They live here full time. You're going to get a wide variety of people who speak multiple different languages. So it's good because if you're like I just met someone who is from France. Like if you speak French fluently, or maybe that's your where you're from, you'll meet lots of people here where you can speak your language and feel a little bit more comfortable if you're not super fluent in Spanish like we were when we first moved here, but and different ages.
Yeah, all different ages, all different walks of life.
Including families. We've actually...
Actually, I think it's probably not most popular as families, but I would say it's up there. People move their kids here, and then their kids go to school here. So I think everyone can relate to somebody here.
Yeah, totally.
And Medellin is becoming a huge melting pot of diversity.
Yeah, it really is, for expats in particular. Yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about the most popular expat cities across Colombia. What do you think, based on your experience, do you think are some of the most popular?
I'd say number one might be Bogota.
Uh-huh.
And then I think Medellin has turned into like a digital nomad kind of situation where I think people are starting to find it more than just digital nomads, which if you're not familiar with that term, it's people that just come and work from wherever in the world. And Medellin has become a place for those kinds of people, but it's also becoming a place for people to come settle down.
Yeah.
I think Medellin is probably number two. And then you have Cali, which is kind of out in the mountains near the Pacific coast in the southern part of the country. And then you have Cartagena.
I think Cartagena is starting to get bigger.
Cartagena is pretty big. It's so hot.
It's so hot.
I don't know how people do it. I'm even struggling now. But.
And Santa Marta is getting a little bit bigger.
Santa Marta is becoming more popular. Santa Marta is up on the Caribbean coast towards Venezuela if you're looking geographically. Not too far from Cartagena. You can definitely drive. But Santa Marta is becoming kind of like the new Cartagena.
Yeah. And also I think Bucaramanga is becoming a little bit bigger for foreigners. But I did learn something interesting actually recently about Cali. So Cali is a popular place to travel and visit in general. It's actually one of the salsa capitals of the world. And they have one of the biggest salsa competitions in the entire world in Cali, which is super cool. But someone just told me recently that a lot of the foreigners that they find in Cali are French and German, which I didn't know, which is super interesting. A lot of French and German tend to spend more time in Cali. I'm
glad you brought that up because our friend actually told us he's from Pareja, which is in the coffee region, Eje Cafetero, and he was telling us a lot of Germans and I think Dutch people as well are starting to move out there. Like it's not really a place where foreigners live that much, but I think now it's becoming more of a place to settle down because I think it's kind of underrated right now, and it's a place where it's like probably one of the most famous places in Colombia to visit. But don't people only visit? I don't think people live out there, for foreigners at least. So I think it's becoming a place where foreigners want to settle down.
Yeah,
it's out in the mountains, but it is kind of hard to get to. So
yeah,
I think that's kind of an up and coming.
Yeah, definitely.
The next Medellin.
People, you can get to Salento really easily from Pereira, which is like the main
seen
coffee
a photo of it.
Town. Yeah.
The photos are everywhere of the palm trees and
it's amazing. You have to go if you're in Colombia and you're just traveling around. Maybe you're just here for a month or a couple of weeks. Definitely try to make your way to.
Yeah, definitely worth the visit.
But there's lots of different places within the country for finding friends and meeting other people. And we are specifically in Medellin, so that's mostly our experience, but it doesn't mean that this experience isn't similar in other places around Colombia.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And part of the reason why long-term stays in Colombia have become more popular is because there are new visa opportunities for foreigners. So recently, in the last couple of years, they've put in a digital nomad visa. So you have to make like a certain amount of money every month from wherever you're working. It has to be a foreign company that you're working for, but you can stay, I believe, up to 2 years within Colombia on a digital nomad visa. So that's something, it depends on your home country, on the rules and things. I'm speaking based on the United States. So if you are interested in one of those long-term stays, like a student visa or a digital nomad visa, or a retirement visa, we'll be going into a whole podcast about visa options in the future, but definitely look into options on like Google search options for your home country and what's available here.
I think that's very important, is your visa options.
Yeah, because it does vary. But there are many options here. So
There are many options, but we're only experienced from the U.S. point of view.
right.
So we're not sure on the German or Dutch visas.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, let's get into how you find these groups, because I think that it's probably the most challenging part. Not everyone's willing just to get out there and go to the bar, to a restaurant, and meet people.
Yeah.
So
there are many ways actually to find different communities here. So first, let's talk about the way that we initially started to like reach out to people and like start meeting people. So this one is the one that I think that we used the most when we first started thinking about coming down here. And you might laugh at it because it feels a little antiquated, but Facebook.
whoa.
Facebook.
I feel like we're not old enough to call it antiquated.
I know, but Facebook, I feel like not many people use anymore. I don't know, but there are actually Facebook was an amazing tool for us when we first started like looking at moving down here, and even like you said, even before we moved down here. There are amazing communities on Facebook. So if you don't have a Facebook, reactivate your Facebook, log in, get a new Facebook, because you will use these communities. There are communities like in Medellín, for example, there's one called Gringo Paisa. There's one for Expat Women of Medellín, which is the one I really like. And actually how I've met like someone that's on the team, the More Colombian Than an Arepa / Colombia Expats team. I met her on Community. That's how you found your hairstylist, was on the Expat Women.
Well,
I found. I know.
I wasn't on there.
I was like, does anyone know who can cut really fine blonde hair? And I got like 14 people responding. So that's where you could just like, a lot of times, it's actually where I found out about a meetup that I did that I'll talk about in a little bit. That was through Expat Women in Medellín. There is like even groups for like dogs, like Medellín expat dog owners, or like
that's
like,
a fun one.
Yeah, and they have like meetups for your dogs if you want to like bring your dogs all out to play. So those are really, really cool. I like those meetups or those communities on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook has definitely probably the most options for the introverted people, or the people that are just not that confident about getting out there and just doing things. I think that's the easiest way, because there are tons of meetups on there.
Yeah.
So
tons.
Facebook, number one.
Another one is language exchanges.
These happen every week, by the way, these language exchanges.
Yeah, language exchanges. So tell them about your favorite language exchange here.
Well, first off, there are many of them.
Many.
You can find them across the city, but the most popular place, I think, is Provenza. And our favorite one is called Vintrash. It's in like the Centro Provenza, which is like the main touristy part of El Poblado and Medellín. And, they don't just offer English and Spanish. They offer like Portuguese, French, German. I mean, you name it. Any language, any like common language that you can think of, I guarantee it's there. So
all levels
too. They separate you by beginner, intermediate, expert, and depending on the language that you're looking to learn. Typically, the people that are at the English tables are Spanish speakers trying to learn English. So you kind of help each other out. So it kind of works in a great way. And you also meet friends. Like we've met probably 3 or 4 people that we still talk to that we...
Yeah. The bar is called Vintrash, and the language exchange is called Gringo Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. But that's like a brand. They're all, I think...
Yeah, Gringo Tuesdays are all over Colombia.
So not just Medellin. So this language exchange is in reference to all over Colombia.
Yeah, all over.
Are
everywhere. Literally anywhere. If you stay at a hostel or a co-living space, those will always have a language exchange.
That's also probably the best way to meet people, because even maybe before you move here, or like if you're looking, stay at a hostel, because you'll probably meet mostly transients, but you might meet someone that's looking to move here as well.
But if you don't want to stay like in a hostel room, like I was in my 30s when I came here and definitely did not want to share a room with like 10 people.
But there are hostels that you know, you can get private rooms.
Yeah, that's what we did. We stayed at a co-living / co-working hotel the first couple of times we came here, and we met tons of people and we had our own room and our own bathroom and our own like little kitchenette area, because we were not gonna stay with a whole bunch of like young 20-year-olds, which is a great thing. All of the young 20-year-olds should stay in hostels. But we were a little bit older and we were like, let's stay here. But we were still amongst like all these foreigners. And it was such a great way to like meet people. A lot of people there are like short term. And by short term, I mean like 1 month, maybe up to 3 months that are there.
Tourist visa.
On the tourist visa or something, and it's so much fun. It's a great way to meet like less than 6 month travelers here. If so, depending on how long you plan to stay here, the co-living opportunity is a great way to do it.
And you can also ask those people that have been here for a month or 3 months or 6 months, you know, their experience about it, what they like about it, what they don't like about it. You know, that's a good way to also realize like what kind of things you're getting yourself into if you're looking to move here. So I think that's also important.
Also, speaking of co-living, there's another way that you can meet people and learn a language if you want to. And a lot of the language schools offer lodging. So you can stay at the school and get a more like language immersive experience. So like you're speaking Spanish all day at these schools and you can stay there. So it's another amazing way to meet people. We know people who have done that and then they've ended up traveling all around Colombia with the people that they meet there. So it's a really cool opportunity if you're planning on like maybe if you're a little bit shorter term here to like maybe less than a month. It's a good way for you to practice the language and to meet other people that are here as well.
Yeah, totally. Even if you're here for just like a week to see the city, it's also a good way to meet other people to hang out with while you're here.
Totally.
So short term, long term, I think that's a great option.
Another one that we have loved are the tours, and not just in Medellin. Every time we take a tour somewhere and it's a group of people, I feel like we make friends there. Like, I'm still not Facebook. Well, I guess maybe Facebook, but Instagram.
Sam's stuck on Facebook.
Instagram friends with a lot of people that we've met on tours. I feel like just the travelers in Colombia are awesome for the most part. And
also, again, all walks of life take these tours, you know, like young people, say young, like I'm an old man, but like, you know, 18 to 22 to like people that are retired. So
so fun.
A great way to meet people that are all different ages.
And just be brave and like join these tours. There's a really, really fun, I'm going to speak specifically to Medellin for this one, but I want everyone to search for a tour company similar to this in wherever you end up in Colombia. But there's one in Colombia or in Medellin called Way Colombian Tours, and this was probably one of my most favorite tours we took. But we went to a DIM game. It was a football game for like one of the main teams here in Medellin, and they take a group of people and you sit like where the locals sit at the football match, and it was so much fun. It was such an amazing group of people. They like feed you aguardiente and beer all night long. They paint your face. They teach you the chants. And it was like, it felt like such a close group of friends. It was so much fun. And those kinds of tours are such an amazing way to meet friends.
Yeah, I think that was probably our favorite tour.
That was so much fun. That or maybe the very first Comuna 13 tour that we took. But that
one's exciting.
Yeah,
also if you're someone that, you know, needs a little bit of alcohol to get the juices, social
liquid courage.
Every tour will at some point involve at least a beer, and if you don't drink, they offer juice, you know, whatever.
Yeah, no problem.
Every tour will offer some kind of liquid courage to get you going.
All over the country too. But there are so many like fun tour groups that you can join. That actually leads me to another kind of interesting way to do it. But look for content creators that are in these towns or cities that you're moving to. So if you're spending time in Bogota, look for content creators in Bogota, look for content creators in all of these cities. Because, for example, like Nick and I, we have an incredible community of people on our social media, and we actually do meetups frequently, periodically.
Yes.
Where we where we like go to a really cool place, and anyone who loves Medellin or loves Colombia or lives here comes to the meetup, and it's a great way for people to like get to know each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That are like-minded, and a lot of creators do that. We have a lot of creator friends in Medellin, and they do meetups like that too. Like we have a real estate friend who's a creator here. He does real estate tours with people. So it's a great way to meet foreigners and like friends here in the city. Yeah. So definitely check out content creators in wherever those communities are.
The people that you follow, and as well you can meet people that you know are looking to make friends here. So and you get to hang out at a fun place. So I think it's an all around thing.
Yeah, all around great thing. If you're in Medellin, if Medellin is your hometown that you're spending time in, then feel free. You can follow us. You can join one of our meet and greets. We love meeting you. So make sure to follow us at Colombia_expats if you want to meet us and meet up with an incredible community. There's such amazing people that join us on that.
And also, at least at our meetups, I'm not sure about other ones, we don't only have foreigners. You know, there are Colombians that come that follow us, or like just want to meet other foreigners, or just want to like meet other people. And you know, if you don't really want to make friends with just foreigners, I mean, you just walk down the street and any Colombian will just want to chat with you. So Colombians are the easiest people to make friends with.
That's why we're kind of telling you more about how to make foreign friends, because Colombianos, you could literally go to the grocery store and come home with a best friend that is Colombian. So you can literally ride one elevator and leave that elevator with a new best friend and their phone number, and know about their family life and all of their history in the course of 11 floors, riding 11 or 12 floors. But those are some good ways. Now, let me talk about some of the community events. So we actually are going to have someone on the podcast in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. She's amazing. She runs a Medellin community center here. And a lot of the cities have community centers. And sometimes they're run by foreigners. Sometimes there are both foreigners and Colombians. It really depends on the city, but the one that's in Medellin runs community events throughout the week and throughout the month, and they're amazing. They have co-working, they have ability to literally anything. Like they have anything. So I went to an event there in February of this year that was so much fun. It was called F the Small Talk, but like the actual F word.
I'm sure you can use your imagination what she's talking about.
And it was called F the Small Talk. And the whole purpose of this was to have conversations that were deeper than just the small talk conversations. So we weren't even allowed to say like how old we were, where we were from. Like,
did you ask each other's names?
Yeah, we knew each other's names, but like not much more. We went right into some really deep conversations, which really makes people have to kind of step outside their comfort zone. But what a cool way to meet people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get to know people in a much deeper way, and I still have friends from that event. It's a really
your
cool.
Closest friends here you met there, right?
Yeah, honestly, we've met friends in some very random ways. One of my very close friends here I met at a WeWork, just like literally working next to her, and I was like, let's go get a beer after work, and she was like, yeah, and then we became great friends, and maybe we'll have her on the podcast too. Katie, if you're listening.
When she speaks Spanish, you would never know that she is
it's amazing.
A foreigner.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Spanish is her second language. But anyways.
But yeah, there are tons and tons of ways.
Many ways.
Yes. And like really, really cool opportunities throughout the country. I feel like it's unique. I mean, maybe it's this way in other countries too, but it feels like there are so many options here to meet people, and you just have to be comfortable enough to be brave and have the courage to
absolutely.
That leads me to another thing is like meet locals. meet locals.
Yeah, that's the best way to learn.
Learn Spanish by meeting locals. You're not moving to Colombia or spending time in Colombia so that you could only hang out with foreigners, because you could do that in your home country as well. So come here, like meet Colombianos, be part of the Colombian life here, immerse yourself into their life. There are things like in December, for example, there are amazing traditions that Colombianos do in December, and meet these people so that you can go to some of these like very familial, like family events that happen in December.
And they'll probably invite you to their house after to have some aguardiente.
Yes. Anywhere you go, literally, they'll like invite you over. I think we were invited over to at least 25 people's places every football match that happens here. And like take people up on that. Be brave. Say yes. Do it. Don't be nervous about your language. Like Colombianos, if you don't speak Spanish fluently, they love that you try. And they will be as patient as you need them to be. Like we speak slowly, and that's okay.
As long as you get your point across, I think that's the point, right?
Exactly.
And I think I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, not just about meeting friends, but how to date. And I think we're going to do another episode on that, because I think that deserves a whole episode. And we want to tell you the safe way to do that.
Yes, there are definitely safe ways. So this is like, this whole podcast is just focused on.
So this is just for platonic friends.
Yes. And there are just so many people. If you have children, there are really great communities for kids here as well. We saw like a Scouts. What was it?
It's like Boy Scouts.
Boys /
I'm not sure the name of it here, but it's like the equivalent of the Boy Scouts of America.
/ Girl Scouts, because they were both.
Yeah, I think it's co-ed here.
Yeah, but it was so fun. Like they're just young kids, and they volunteer for a lot of really cool events around the city. Another thing that I'm thinking of is like clubs, being part of run clubs, which
pickleball, is it pickleball or
clubs,
racquetball?
All of it.
One of those sports with a racket and then you hit a ball.
Yes.
That's very, very big. Badminton.
There's cycling clubs. There's
cycling
clubs.
Here. If you are into cycling, at least Medellin is the city for you. I mean, mountain biking, road biking, it's a big bike culture.
Yeah.
So
outdoors.
Everything is just outdoors here. So if you're an outdoorsy person, Medellin is the place for you. Hiking, running, cycling.
All of it.
And they all have different clubs you can meet, and everyone's there for the same reason, to meet each other and do whatever that sport is.
And if you just Google like hiking clubs in Cartagena, for example, what typically is the most common thing is you'll find WhatsApp groups.
I don't know if I can hike in Cartagena.
I know, it's so hot.
I might die from
If you hike in Cartagena, good on you.
Yeah, good for you.
I'm sweating just thinking about you doing that right now. But in general, just Google like whatever you're interested in / clubs, and it usually will pop up with a WhatsApp group, and then you just join the WhatsApp group when you're looking, and they will tell you when they're doing meetups and stuff. It's awesome. It's so great.
WhatsApp can be a little difficult because it feels more like a transactional kind of thing, and if there's 30 people in the and you don't pay attention for 5 minutes, you might be having to read an essay just to catch up. But
really,
it is a good way just to keep in touch. And in Colombia in general, everything is WhatsApp based. So if you're not familiar with what WhatsApp is, it is a messaging app. You can call and message people. It's completely free, and it's a game changer. And everything here, if you want to make a restaurant reservation,
totally,
everything is WhatsApp. So
yes.
I guess that's like a pro tip. That's a little bonus for you.
Oh, well, we hope that you got a lot of information out of this podcast. We hope that you found it helpful, and that when you're here, it's easy for you to make friends. But if you still have more questions,
you just got to get out there. I think that's the main thing to take away is, just find what you like to do and get out there and just go do it.
Just do it. Don't be courageous. You were already courageous coming
here.
here.
If you're already here, you're courageous for
Yes, taking that leap. And just
exactly
take a little bit further of a leap and meet some friends that way, and do it as quickly as possible. One of our number one tips to moving here. But if you have more questions about communities or about just like anything in general, drop them in the comments wherever you're listening to this. Send us a message on any of our Instagrams, are at More Colombia than an arepa. We have that on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, or on our personal one if you want to follow us on our daily documenting our life at Colombia_expats. And we hope that you are excited about your journey here and about meeting friends. If you also have other ways that you've met people, let us know. Like, we're also
we're open to learn. This is just what we know.
Yeah, exactly. But we're
And
probably missing something.
Not that we know everything, but we learn. So if you drop us a line.
Yeah,
let us know.
And definitely share this to anyone that you know who might be coming to Colombia and might be spending time here. Might be a good resource for them to learn how to create a social circle as soon as they get here. So we hope you stick around. Thank you so much. Share, like, comment, do all the things. Muchísimas gracias. And until next time, hasta pronto.